Hello everyone! By the way, I'm Mrs. Alicia Vivera, your teacher in Cookery 9. In Quarter 1, Module 5, it is presenting and storing appetizer. Appetizer or any kind of food is great when it is freshly made, but not all the time it is completely consumed. And the only option is to preserve the food for another day of consumption. For this reason, possibilities of food contamination is high, so much better to store the appetizer properly. This lesson discusses the different techniques in proper storing appetizers that will surely prevent food contaminations if correctly followed. After studying these lessons, students should be able to identify the types of food to be stored, enumerate techniques in storing food, explain factors that affect stored food, discuss quality trimmings, determine the advantages and disadvantages of trimming foods, store appetizers properly, apply sanitary practices in storing appetizers. These are the words that you might encounter during our discussion. So decay, when we say decay, it is decomposed through the action of bacteria and fungi. Fermentation, it is the chemical breakdown of a substance by bacteria, yeast, or other microorganisms, typically involving effervescence and the giving off of heat. Shelf life, this is the length of time for which an item remains usable, fit for consumption, or saleable. Utilize quality trimming. A nutrient is one of the most desirable content of the food that we need to make our body healthy. Hence, quality trimming is very important to apply during food preparation. In this lesson, we are going to explain quality trimmings, determine the advantages and disadvantages of trimmings food. When we say trim, it is a technical term used in cuisine which means to get rid of all undesirable or inedible parts of meat, fish, chicken, vegetables, and fruit. Though doing this method implies losing greater concentration of certain nutrients in the outer portion of fruits and vegetables. That should not necessarily mean wasted part trimmings are used for making stock, soups, and sauces. There are advantages and disadvantages of using trimmings in an appetizer. So, advantage, it improves the appearance of the food. The disadvantage, it reduces the nutrient content of the food. Advantage, it makes some food or some dish more flavorful like soup and sauces. Prevent the rest part of food to be contaminated, while the disadvantages, trimming can cause discoloration of fruits and vegetables, and it loss of texture and flavor for vegetables. We have three types of food. We have the perishable, semi-perishable, and non-perishable food. Storing is a method of keeping food to prevent spoilage and wasting using different techniques. There are three types of food. We have the perishable food. These are foods that can decay or spoil for a short period of time if not stored or consumed immediately after purchasing. Example of this is the meat, poultry, cooked food, dairy, eggs, fruits and vegetables. Perishable food need to be stored at refrigerator or freezer temperatures. If refrigerated, many perishable food must be used within 3 to 7 days. When we say semi-perishable food, these are food does not require refrigeration but has limited shelf time. If properly stored and handled using a clean vacuum-sealed bag, semi-perishable if properly stored and handled using a clean vacuum-sealed bag, or semi-perishable food may remain unspoiled for 6 months to a year. Examples of these are the vegetables, fruits, flour, grains, and dried foods. Another is non-perishable food. Non-perishable, these are foods that have long shelf life unless they are handled carelessly. However, even if they stored under ideal conditions, they may lose quality over extended a period of time. So, dapat tinitingnan natin yung manufacturer date, and expiration date. Example of these: canned goods, sugar, coffee, dried beans, and spices. Storing technique. Number one is freezing. Freezing is this the placing perishable food item in the freezer with a temperature of 0 degree Fahrenheit or below. One is cold storing, placing food item like fruits, vegetables, milk in the temperature of 4 degree Fahrenheit and below. And another is pickling fermentation. This method is used to preserve food using substances like sugar, vinegar, and salt to extend the shelf life of food like meat, vegetables, and fruit. This time of pandemic, or while the pandemic continues to affect everyday life, a healthy approach to food is more important to help our family members stay healthy without high cost. As a cookery student, how will you ensure healthy eating as a practice to be observed by your family during our challenging times? These are the factors that affect stored food storage life. So we have the quality of the food. If the food is fresh, make sure it is clean before placing in the refrigerator to prevent contamination that will cause spoilage. Another one is time. Always remember first in, first out, or FIFO. We called it as FIFO. So when store food, it is better if it has label containing details about the food to store. Ang FIFO kasi, ito yung number one rule sa mga fast food chain, sa mga restaurant. And another one is the temperature. There are foods that need to store in a specific temperature, like meat. Never expose the food to temperature danger zone 40 degree Fahrenheit to 140 degree Fahrenheit that will exceed for 4 hours. And another one is the storage. Choose the right type of storage container such as plastic, glass, foil, or cloth. Here are the sanitary practices when storing food. Number one, always wash your hands. Wash hands. Do this from time to time, most especially before and after preparing food to prevent food contamination. And always practice the mise en place and wash tools needed. This cannot just save time, but it can give an assurance of having complete and clean tools. Cook food thoroughly. Food contamination usually happen when with half-cooked food. Prevent bare hand contact with food. Too much handling of food can carry unwanted microorganisms. And purchase food with reliable source. Buy food for quality, not by price. So, wag tayong maghihinayang doon sa pera. Maghinayang tayo kung magkano yung magagastos natin kung halimbawa tayo ay mauuspital. Store food properly. Choose correct container and the right temperature. Clean and sanitize workplace. Food contamination can be anywhere. Better clean the workplace before and after using it. There have always been many risks to operating the storage process of foods. There are even more now in this time of pandemic. As a cookery student, try to know what they are and plan some steps to avoid them. Remember that sanitation is the key component in the new equation for success. Hope you learned something in today's lesson. Please don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you everyone.